Diagnostics, which is the unlisted subsidiary of Fortis Healthcare. This company is slightly bigger than Dr. Lal PathLabs, so it did about revenues of 722 crores in FY15, while Dr. Lal does about 662 crores. So we can get a good sense of how this diagnostic space can grow. Sanjeev Vashishta, the CEO of SRL Diagnostics, joins us now to talk about that. Sanjeev, hi, good morning, and thanks for being with us. Your own company has seen a growth of about 11% in the year gone by. But going ahead in the next couple of years, given the kind of momentum that this diagnostic space is seeing, what do you think the compounded growth could be, say, in the next 2 to 3 years?
So good morning. First of all, if you look at the CAGR growth over the last 4 years, it is good. It is about 17%. Now, why in the last year our growth was slightly subdued was for the simple reason that we had moved out certain centers, those were non-accretive to us. So going forward, I see easily, given the opportunity that we have on board in the diagnostic space, I feel the growth should be somewhere in the vicinity of 20-odd%.
Okay. What is the sense you're getting of, the competition from the unbranded space? Do you think that makes it difficult to raise prices? It's a pressure on margins?
So see, I think it's a kind of a misnomer. If you look at the kind of spend that we have on the healthcare side as a percentage of GDP, it's abysmally low. It's just about 4% of the overall spend of GDP, as opposed to 18-odd% in US, and even in the emerging economies like Brazil, it is 10%. So first of all, a lot of funding has to get into the healthcare space. Secondly, I feel that there's so much to be done in this space. We haven't even scratched the surface. If we have the right kind of building blocks, I think this is a huge opportunity for us, and there's no competition, so to say. Let me just elaborate this point. While even a small shop next on the next corner may be a competitor to me, but if you look at the larger thing, we're talking about esoteric markers, we're talking about good technology, high-end technology. So if you have got all the right kind of building blocks, there's hardly any competition. And we haven't even, as I was telling you, we haven't gone to the tier 2, tier 3 or those Mofussil towns where we ought to be. So to me, there's a huge space. There's hardly any competition, so to say. But having said this, yes, in the routine space, or what we call as the routine markers or the routine assays, everybody is thronging this space. We have to have a differentiator in the form of high-end technology. We have to have a differentiator in the form of new tests that we are able to bring on board. And especially for SRL, if you look at it, I think we have all the right kind of building blocks today. And one of the main things is the reach. Today, with 285 labs and over 6,800 collection points, we are virtually, across the length and breadth of the country. As places as back of the beyond as Imphal, Dibrugarh, Silchar, we have the labs there.
Oh yes, fair enough. With the kind of epidemics, diseases, infertility that's increasing just over the years, I'm sure your business will grow by leaps and bounds. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the margins as well, because this industry has really good margins going. Your own company sees about 28% margins, which is much higher than what a lot of pharmaceutical companies see. And Dr. Lal PathLabs, which is going to be listed, is also sitting at about 24% margins or so. Do you think that given the new avenues that you guys are getting into, the margins, the blended margins could go up in the years to come? And if yes, what could the growth be?
See, first of all, I think I'll give you the industry's perspective.
Sure.
The expectation from the industry is to give at least 25-26% margin. But there'll be outperformers. There'll be certain companies, and I can talk about SRL, why we are best poised to beat this expectation. There are multiple factors for it. I mentioned to you about the reach. Now, if you look at our spread in the country today, we are very evenly distributed. We get about 33% business from north, 18% from south, 27% from west, and about 22% from east. So we are very evenly distributed. Now, let's take another company which is let's say north-centric or west-centric. To come out to the other locations or to start operating from the other locations, they'll have to maybe spend a bit more capex as well as opex. Now, the mistake which most of the players, even even in the organized sector they do is start undercutting the prices, which is not the right thing, because if we have to maintain the quality, we have to have the right kind of manpower. I think we have to be, charging the price whatever is reasonable. Now, one is the reach, second is the people. In SRL, we have got about 500 doctors, in the overall doctors and scientists, in the overall number of 6,200 people that work for the organization. Now, obviously, the healthcare is all about trust. Healthcare is all about word of mouth. So if people, they come to SRL and they realize that, they're getting the right kind of quality, they're getting all kind of esoteric tests which were not hitherto available in the country, I think we are pretty much sorted. So I feel that the margins are going to grow steadily. If you look at our record over the last 4 years, we have grown on the EBITDA margin side at the rate of 38%. And I would surmise that we have got the right kind of building blocks in place to take it up further.
38% EBITDA growth would be sustainable, you think?
CAGR.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think so. That should be sustainable because, as I told you, there's immense opportunity. Let's not miss out on the point that, I mean, 50% or maybe more percent number of people
So,
may not
Sanjeev,
be having access to the quality.
Sure, I'm sorry we're running out
Yeah.
of time, but just one yes or no question. No plans to list anytime soon?
Well, that's a decision which will be taken by the investors and the shareholders. So, frankly, I mean, we are running the business. Management is absolutely oblivious of that. So, it will happen as and when it happens.
Okay. Thanks a lot for joining us, Sanjeev, with your idea of the business.
Pleasure.
Prakash, looks like this will be the opportune time for the owners to get the valuations, since Path Labs has given a path-breaking valuation.
Oh, absolutely. So they've finally done the price discovery